Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. I'm picking up a lot of new subscribers and I'm getting a lot of questions about the purpose of gematria and what's it all about and why would anyone do it. If you watch my videos, I've answered these questions many times in many different ways. And essentially, what I can say for sure is going on is what Francis Bacon once wrote about, and that was purposefully putting a code behind words using gematria, just as I teach. And so, in that sense, there's truth behind these words that are for eyes that are in the know. And that truth could be things such as what reveals what is truly a hoax, what is a made up publicity stunt, essentially broadcast as real news. It could also be a form of trademarking. Notice the abbreviation TM. T's the 20th letter and M's the 13th. So T plus M equals 33. This number 33 is of great importance. Look at this image of Bill Cosby right here, showing him in a hooded sweatshirt, a plain look, a casual man's look, and in recent history, symbolism that ties into Trayvon Martin, T plus M, 20 plus 13 equals 33. His killer was George Zimmerman, G plus Z is 7 plus 26 equals 33. There's a rapper out there right now named Jeezy, which is the pronunciation of those letters, and hip hop music's all full of 33. So, in this story right here, Bill Cosby is being accused of sexual assault mistreatment from the year 1982, now 33 years ago. This story came out in November of last year, so in the 32nd year anniversary, but now the story is going further, coming up on the 33rd year anniversary. We're getting a lot of stories from 1982. Remember, we had Robert Durst in the media. Robert is a 33 name in Gematria. Durst is an 82 name, and his story went back to 82 as well. So we're going to decode more details in this story, see how this story syncs up with him resigning from the Temple Board earlier this year because the numerology is very similar. And I also want to point out, Truth Seeker, that the phrase race war in Pythagorean gematria sums to 33. And that is what our media is trying to build right now. R is the 18th letter, but 1 plus 8 equals 9. A is the first, C is the third, E is the fifth, W is the 23rd, but 2 plus 3 for 23 equals 5. A is the first, R is the ninth. Add it all up. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 3 is 13, plus 5 is 18, plus 5 is 23, plus 1 is 24, plus 9 is 33. Race war is a coded 33. And as I've been exposing at the whole time I've been doing this blog, 33 is coded in all these stories of white on black crime. All of them. Every single one you've heard this year. 33 is very central in the story. And that is not a coincidence, Truth Seeker. I was explaining this on August of last year with no video evidence. Since then, I've documented, I don't know, probably 300 stories with this continued coding. Very deliberate, very purposeful, very redundant. But that's what I want people to wake up to. People have to see how fake their media is and what is purposefully being done, and we'll also get into why Bill Cosby is being used and likely allowing this. You know, he probably even posed for this shot here with the hoodie. Okay, so let's look at it. The first thing that's really curious is that 82 is 33 years ago. The name Janice Dickinson sums to 111 with the S exception, and this number is going to be central in his Temple Board resignation story, too. Notice that the location where the allegations go back to is Lake Tahoe. Lake Tahoe has a gematria of 33. Lake Tahoe, Nevada sums to 53. And if you go back and watch my video blog in October and November, I was talking about how 53 in all the stories was being heavily coded. 53 was a very hot number at that time. John Boehner kept using it. So did a bunch of people. Lake Tahoe, Nevada is a 53 location. And again, Lake Tahoe, 33. In simple English gematria, Nevada sums to 47. 47. The word mafia equals 47 in Jewish gematria. And notice that this woman is born in the year 55. This is also going to be a number of importance in the temple resignation story. This is the accuser, Janice Dickinson. She was 27 at the time of the allegation, saying that what Bill Cosby did to her then has caused her an emotional disturbance for her entire life. And you know what, True Seeker? If these stories were true, I think justice doesn't have an expiration date. But I'm highly suspicious of these people who've lived successful lives and coming out all this time after. Also, I want you to notice that her past husbands, she divorced them in 96, a very Masonic year, a number tied to Bill Cosby as well, and 93, another very Masonic, tied into this Saturn worship year, and also tied into the Bill Cosby show. We're going to talk about all this, so stay with me. Lots of information here. And also notice that Bill Cosby's age 77 right now. These multiples of 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, 77, 88, 99, 110, 121, so on. The Masons love. Okay, so let's go back and look at when he quit the temple board. They were making a big deal about this in the media for a week. Temple board sums to 111, just like this woman's name. The last time Cosby was being humiliated in the media, it was about this, tied in with the other sexual allegations, and now it's this woman that has this same number on her. It should be noted, True Seeker, that temple board in English gematria is times 6, so it sums to 666. The founder of the temple board was this Russell Conwell, a name with 55 gematria. The woman accusing him is 55 years old right now. I agree, True Seeker, that some of this stuff could be coincidence, but again, I've been documenting this stuff. It always syncs up this way. It shows you that somehow the agents and the stories they're put into are grouped this way or somehow. This could be how the Illuminati, if you will, has their indexing done. William Henry Cosby, the name, sums to 96. The word Freemason equals 96. The word knowledge equals 96. The word Satanism equals 96. William Henry Cosby, his full name sums to 96. He's also a junior, a 33 word. And if you didn't read it already, he debuted on TV in 62. The word Mason equals 62. If you remember this story, Truth Seeker, in history, his son died on January 16th, 97. This is a date with 114 numerology, and his son's name, sums to 44. Both of these numbers are very much associated with death and assassination. Also, if you took this a step further and added the 19 for the year 1997, you can do that as well. It would sum to 133. 133. The word temptation sums to 133. If Enos Cosby really did die on this day, it's hard to say what's going on behind the scenes, but maybe Bill Cosby gave in to the ultimate temptation or sold his son out to save his own ass. I don't have all the answers to what's going on behind the scenes with these people, Truth Seeker, but I see how their events are done by the numbers, and I think that knowledge is important for all of us to see because it does reveal much. The Cosby Show, the date it debuted, September 20th, 1984, is a date with 33 numerology. Also 113, like the word mainstream, green screen, dishonest. This is how the gang operates, Truth Seeker. And for being in the gang, you might have to put up with negative publicity stunts, such as being made to look like a sexual harasser. Bill Cosby, the name in simple English gematria, sums to 99. He was the head of the Huxtable family, which has a gematria of 93. We'll come back to that, Truth Seeker. Hold on, Truth Seeker. I want to point out just how much hateful stuff is in our headlines right now, besides Bill Cosby. Because you have to look at the greater impact of all this. Huh. I wanted to show all of the people in black history that are connected to the number 93. The name Martin Luther King Jr. sums to 93. The name Malcolm X sums to 93. The name Rosa Louise Macaulay Parks sums to 93. The name Beyonce Giselle Knowles sums to 93. The name Brandy Raven Norwood sums to 93. So many notable faces, important figures from black history sum to 93. The number of Thelema, the number of Do What Thou Wilt. Right now we have the first black president. The name Saddam Hussein sums to, Barack Hussein Obama sums to 64. The word Thelema sums to 64. So does the phrase do what thou wilt. And Thelema, this religion, worships the number 93. So there's a relationship between 64 and 93. And that number's on the first black president. Truth Seeker, this answers questions that a lot of people don't want to know. If you ever wondered how Martin Luther King Jr. or Malcolm X got the media coverage that they did, this is why. Because they were in the game. Yeah, I realized they still had a very positive message. I would say Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. were very positive influences for me. But now my question about how they were the ones that got recognized is answered. They were sellouts to some degree. They both taught nonviolence in the end. And it's not that I'm a violent person, but I realize that if we as a people adhere to nonviolence and root out anything else, which is what we've done as a society, that means we are no real threat to this vicious gang that does rule with violence and tyranny. You know? In our society, people have cleaned their brain out. They don't realize, and when I say clean their brain out, I don't mean in a good way. I mean, like, clean their brain out so they're not thinking and just following whatever gets thrown in there for each day. But we have to become aware and organized as a society and resort to whatever it takes to overthrow what is upon us. That might involve violence because in history it has. Martin Luther King Jr., he said a lot of truths, but he never pointed that out. He always preached the nonviolence. And look at how his life ended on April 4th, 4-4. The word kill equals 44. Obama's the 44th president. You know? People can say, well, look at his legacy, and I'll shrug my shoulders and say, what is his legacy? Black America is still suffering nearly 50 years after his death. That'll be in 2018. We're not that far away. Everybody's suffering. More people are suffering now than they were in the time of Martin Luther King Jr. because there's more of us and more suffering. We just get more of a public relations campaign on TV and more flat screens and things to tune our minds out to. People are all living in la la land. Anyway, Truth Seeker, that said, there is also a very real code of racial hate towards black people in this world. Before this article came out, I was documenting how the numbers 59 and 42 are coded on black people all throughout history. You could almost argue that the number 38 is too, all the black deaths on dates with 38 numerology. But anyway, the numbers 59 and 42 are coded all over black people. Purest way to say it. On May 9th, Liberia was declared free of Ebola after going 42 days. Black History Month is February. February sums to 42. The 28th day of February is the 59th day of the year. Black History Month. Makes you wonder what these sick people did to black people once upon a time in the month of February. And this number 38's been all over the Ebola thing too. Liberia is a 38 word. If you guys haven't seen my post on the recent dead rapper, I talked about the number 38 and how it associates with the Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac's death. Both of them died on dates with 38 numerology. They code this stuff into all their stories, Truth Seeker. These people are weaving the narrative of our culture, of our history. The reason history repeats itself is because these people keep doing it by the numbers on their calendar system they set up. Tiger Woods on May 9th had his worst career day. Of course, the name Tiger, not his real name, sums to 59. Now you know what it's really all about, Truth Seeker. Tiger on 5/9 has his worst career day ever. Ever. I guess Tiger will keep doing it as long as he's getting paid. Last night on the Letterman sign-off, I noticed the only black person on the stage was Chris Rock. And I said, man, I've never done Chris Rock's gematria. I bet you he's got some numbers on him. Right away, I noticed Chris Rock was 59 with the S exception. He was born February 7th in Black History Month. 65, a date with 93 numerology. The numbers on him make me think that Chris Rock will definitely be killed by this gang someday. He has some very revealing numbers. 27's a lot like 27. 74 is the number of the martyr. 93 is always around this ritualistic sacrifice. Thelema, do what thou wilt. Also, he's married to another one of these women with a 33 name, which I was talking about in a very recent post, and I've been talking about in many other posts. Tom Cruise divorced all three of his wives at the age of 33. Anyway, Compton's a 33 name. Of course, Compton in California is on the 33rd parallel. Married in 96. The name Compton with simple English gematria sums to 96 as well, Truth Seeker. I should have wrote that up here. 33 Pythagorean, 96 simple English. Here, let's do it together. Let's practice. Maybe somebody out there is going, yeah, right. We're just doing alphabetic order. C's 3, O's 15, M's 13, P's 16, T's 20, O's 15, N's 14. If you can add, that's 96. 3 plus 15 is 18, plus 13 is 31, plus 16 is 47, plus 20 is 67, plus 15 is 82, plus 14 is 96. And Truth Seeker, if you don't think you can add like that, I guarantee you can. I used to be a teacher for 5th grade. I taught a lot of kids to be able to count that well who thought they were horrible at math. You can do it too. Check this out, Truth Seeker. This is awful. Last night, CNN had this article about Google Maps having the N-word problem. When you typed in N-house, the White House came up. But the article was all about how they were fixing it. So I wanted to verify it, so I went to Google Maps and I typed it in. And instead of pulling up the White House, what it pulled up was this: Underground Railroad TV at 322 South Green Street in Chicago, Illinois. And I thought, what in the world? You know, what in the world? That 322 stands out like a sore thumb. Green is a color with 49 gematria, another number of interest. Chicago is where the current president's from. The article from CNN was saying it was pulling up the White House. So now it's not pulling up the White House, but it's pulling up this. I mean, an underground railroad obviously is a reference to Harriet Tubman and escaping slavery. So a reference to Black America. You know? What is Google really doing? I mean, this stuff is sick. Also, the acronym for this, Underground Railroad TV, URT, sums to 59, which is interesting. Interesting. And then also, Truth Seeker, I've been listening to talk radio shows such as Karen Hunter, Joe Madison, Tavis Smiley, Mark Thompson, and they've all been telling their audiences, which are mostly black, what a shame it is that the media coverage about this white, mostly predominantly white biker gang shootout, the media is not bringing up how poor the families are and how bad the upbringing it is and the problems with the fathers, as they did in the media coverage of Baltimore. Right? And then when the media finally released an image from this shootout, this is the first image they released. One of a black man. But then the story also talks about how he was a former detective for the police. His beard is half black and half white. Truth Seeker, if people can't see how fake and purposefully negative our media is, all for the purpose of steering us where they want to steer us, I mean, I don't know what can be done at this point. I mean, look at this news story. This was the front page of CNN. This was the first mugshot they released from a biker gang where almost everybody's white. A guy with a half black and half white beard. They're just. Ugh, they're just so bad, Truth Seeker. All right, until next time.